What's up guys, Davinator1, 2 and 2. It's another discussion video for you guys. Today's going to be something a little bit different, and it's kind of dovetail on the side decking video that I did previously. Your side deck has 15 cards in it, that's quite a few. That's almost half your deck, assuming you're running 40 cards, which means that potentially you can almost swap out half of your deck between duels and a tournament, in a match. Normally, when you're siding, you probably throw in 3 or 4 cards that are relevant against the current matchup you're doing, and you very rarely do more than that. It's probably 6 max. Because if you find yourself siding in more than 6 cards, you're probably fundamentally changing the way your deck works, and you're going to make them clumsy or cloggy, or you're devoting too much space to your extra deck for one matchup, so why are you siding so much? So most of the time when you side in a ton of cards, it's probably not good, or at least not optimal. However, there is one strategy in this game that doesn't see a ton of play that is pretty much you swap out 15 cards, and that is called the Smokescreen. The Smokescreen is something that you don't see a lot of in Yu-Gi-Oh! It's really kind of a cool idea, and I'm actually kind of curious as to why it's not used more, other than it's a little clumsy and requires a very specific meta. What is Smokescreening? For the younger players or new guys who don't know what I'm talking about, Smokescreening is the strategy in which you side out 15 or so cards between your games in order to fundamentally change the way your deck plays. For instance, you might be playing Boojins and decide to side into Fire Fists. A core of a deck is probably around 15 cards-ish, so as long as the rest of the deck, the other 25 cards, are remotely the same things, like for instance Tenki, which searches both Fire Fists and Boojins, so it doesn't need to be taken out for both decks to work, which means you can pretty much change the entire way your deck plays between games. The objective being you throw off your opponent's strategy because they probably, let's say if you were playing Boojins game 1, you helmeted up and you got yourself a victory, so they're going to put in a bunch of light imprisoning mirrors. You side into Fire Fist, so all those light imprisoning mirrors your opponent put in don't do anything, so they pretty much bricked 3 cards in their deck, so which if they draw them, for instance, then it's going to be a useless draw. It's a very interesting strategy, but it requires very specific conditions in order for it to work. 1. Majority of the cards between the 2 different decks that you're trying to play need to be the same. For instance, in this case, it was Tenki. It can stay in the main deck, doesn't need to be sided out, so it doesn't need to be put in the side deck, and it works for both decks as a search card. And I guess there's an attack boost, I guess. And the other thing is, their strategies need to be fundamentally different. Fire Fists are either a rank 4 deck or a rank 3 and 5 deck-ish. Whereas Boojins are a light, battle phase, hand-trappy helmet deck. Completely different. There isn't very many decks in this game that utilize very similar tech cards, but yet play completely differently. Because normally, if you're devoting 25 cards to a deck that's the same 25 cards as another deck, both those decks probably have similar mechanics, otherwise those cards would normally have no synergy between each other. However, once in a while, a deck comes along. For this discussion, down in the comments below, which is where I want you guys to do most of the talking, because like I said, for my discussion videos, I don't like to sit up here and yammer for 20 minutes. Who cares what I have to think? I care what you guys think. So what are your opinions on Smokescreening? Is it a viable strategy ever, or now in this current meta, or what? Also, what are some cool deck ideas that you can do with it? Because everyone knows Boojins and Fire Fist. It's the easy one. But there's got to be some other cool 2 deck combos that you can smush together in order to make a really cool smokescreeny deck. Anyway guys, let me know down in the comments below what you guys think of the smokescreen strategy. A oldie but a goodie. And remember guys, if you don't troll the meta, who will? I'll see you guys next time.